Hey guys, I am Ibigandscary. I'm bringing you another StarCraft 2 replay. This one featuring killerKoala versus KOMOREK. KOMOREK's going to be in your top right corner playing the blue Terran. killerKoala, as always, Terran in the bottom left. I believe both players are in platinum. No, diamond. Of course, diamond. killerKoala's badass, basically. He's a diamond. And both players are in diamond on Shakira's Plateau, and this would be a ladder game just because, you know, red versus blue. Shakira's Plateau, everybody knows it, everyone loves it. You've got a medium-sized ramp leading down to the natural with a larger ramp leading down to the common ground, which is basically the killing fields, where everything is nice and exposed, and Terran hate to push out there against anything except for other Terrans. killerKoala, just, you know, being himself, number between 1 and 5. Personally, I always go with 3, but yeah, 5 works too. By KOMOREK. And you know, right there, that's manner. A lot of people just wouldn't answer back. Anytime I see someone talking a bunch before the game really gets going in the first couple of minutes, I always suspect heavily cheese is underway, but you can see that there's no cheese coming out of either of these players as they're throwing down their first barracks. killerKoala throwing down his to work on that wall off, while KOMOREK is using his up pretty much in the middle of his base. Not going to worry about that wall off just yet. Beauty about the barracks is that you can reposition them later on if you need to do it later, or they may be suspecting that he's going to get an early add-on and he wants to use it on a factory or maybe even a starport later. A refinery coming down for a KOMOREK, and you can see the killerKoala already has his done, already going to be working on that gas. So some early tech out of both players. KOMOREK has sent his SCV up and is building a supply depot here on killerKoala's wall. It's going to be interesting to see if he just doesn't, he doesn't finish building it. So he's basically using this like an engineering bay block to make it so that when his aggression gets there, he can just cancel the supply depot. However, yeah, killerKoala gets his first Marine out, and he's just going to be able to blow that down before the single barracks produces enough Marines to cause killerKoala any consternation at his front door. SCV's coming out scouting, checking the bottom right base, which is odd because I believe this is always cross-spawned, on the ladder at least. We can see still just one gas out of killerKoala, but KOMOREK is deciding to grab his second refinery early on, which is unique because we don't see an add-on out of him at all. A factory is going down though, so I suspect to see this barracks throw down an add-on for the factory in short order, probably once it's done with the Marine that was currently building. A factory coming down for killerKoala in the secondary, which is probably why he scouted this area. Wanted to make sure there wasn't a starport going down in one of the corners for KOMOREK. You know, some early cheese there. I'm not sure if this constitutes as cheese because killerKoala's got his wall off complete. I mean, it's a proxy factory. Yeah, I would classify that as cheese, but it's just early pressure. Depending on how many units gets built from it, or how many add-ons get added to it, or, you know, multiple factories, maybe we're going to see an interesting build one way or another. The only thing you can build right now is Hellions, but depending on what add-on goes down, we can really see what direction killerKoala is going to take this pressure. Can see a tech lab was built by the barracks. The factory hasn't lifted off, so we can see that the tech lab is going to be used for the starport, which means that you're either going to see mass Raven, which is unlikely because we haven't seen that natural expand taken, or more likely a Banshee harass coming out of KOMOREK, which could be effective. You know, we don't see an engineering bay down. We do see some misplaced building construction, so some of killerKoala's main force is going to be away, but we do see an armory coming down for killerKoala, which means he's going to be able to build Thors, which their anti-air capabilities are pretty good against the Banshees. Not as good as some stemmed Marines, but still it's going to supplement his tech force, which is with a second factory coming up, probably what killerKoala is looking at. A single Hellion out on the field right now doesn't mean that he still can't mass out a couple of Hellions, and with this wall off not completed by KOMOREK at all, these SCVs are completely exposed and very vulnerable to attack Command Center is going down with a Tech Lab researching Cloak and a single Banshee almost out. You can see the rally point takes it dangerously close to killerKoala's hidden tech, but I don't believe it's close enough. Maybe he's going to barely be able to see the Tech Lab. We'll have to watch that as time progresses. That first Banshee is done, and it is headed down right now. There is a scan. There's a scan done by killerKoala, and he saw the Tech Lab, which means he's aware of these Banshees coming out, and it looks like, yes, the Banshee did not see the tech location down here in the third, which is fortunate for killerKoala because that means the hidden buildings remain hidden from the Banshee harass. And with the single Thor up and killerKoala keeping the energy low on his orbital command like he's supposed to do, then that factory could have been in a very bad position with only a single Thor out. But with the information afforded to him by the scan, we can see that killerKoala is getting the defensive tech up, and with some Marines positioned to take out that Banshee, it's going to require KOMOREK to micro his units successfully. He cloaks, and the Marine kites back the Banshee to within range of the missile turret, which starts to do some damage of its own, and that first Banshee does go down. See the second one popping out right now, but it immediately carts over to intercept these SCVs. KOMOREK doesn't know about those SCVs yet, but it looks like this Banshee's coming down perfectly into the middle field and is going to see these SCVs, which are coming over to repair the heavy tech. This is a really nice and intimidating building composition. Those Thors are going to be able to deal with the Banshees in the air. Excellent because of their range. And the SCVs will keep them up in pristine health, and the Hellions will deal with mass Marines, which is basically the only thing that KOMOREK can field that will do any damage. A single siege tank coming out is not going to do enough. These Thors are just going to splash down and take out a Marine every shot. Getting hung up in the choke momentarily, a Banshee's deciding to chip away at the supporting structures rather than dealing with killerKoala as he pushes into the main. That SCV, that command center is forced to lift off, as is the starport. KOMOREK scrambling everything, pushing in. The single siege tank doesn't have siege mode done yet, so it can't shell from afar, but it goes down almost instantly to the Thors. It looks like all the SCVs are getting pulled. They get lined up for these three Hellions, which are getting repaired by the SCVs, but they're just taking down so many of them. You can see the harvester count 17 to 25. killerKoala. It worked out great. I would have been fascinated to see what would have happened if that Banshee's rally point was just 2 degrees to the left. It would have seen this, and he would have seen it coming. Pulled back that Banshee, or just was a little bit more careful with it. If KOMOREK knew it was coming, maybe what would he have done? I don't know. Maybe gotten a siege tank out earlier with that siege tech, which would have done significantly more damage to the Thors, and its splash damage would have done a lot of damage to the SCVs. As always, killerKoala, thanks for posting this. Keep them coming. If anybody else has a episode or game that they want me to cast, you could PM me. And if you have a comment on my casting style, I'd love to hear your opinion. Either way, I will see you guys later. Bye.